Today in this video, we're going to look at a fairly common topic that I think a lot of people will have dealt with in the past. If you're a regular heavy trainer, or you've been lifting weights for a long time, or you have a big sporting background or any kind of contact sport, you'll have met this at some stage. The title of today's video is Training with a Glass Back, Strategies for Getting Strong and Hench while not winding up in a wheelchair. Well, first of all, we have to kind of admit that back pain is complex as fuck, as I'm titled in the program. Physicians don't really understand the entirety of back pain as it's presented in people. We understand certain mechanisms of back pain or certain parts of back pain, such as a slip disc, hitting a nerve, or impinging a nerve, causing sciatica, kind of specifics of that sort of thing we have an understanding of. But as it comes to back pain as kind of a holistic or a whole thing, it's a very complex topic. It's basically the quantum physics of physiotherapy. If you think you understand back pain, you don't understand back pain. It's too complex and too complicated of a condition for us to have any kind of real nailed down understanding. There's too much going on. Most adults have a benign disc arrangement of some kind. If you look at epidemiological studies where they scan healthy populations, chances are something like 2/3 or 4/5 of people, so 60 to 80% of people, have some kind of disc arrangement, but it's benign. It doesn't cause any problems. It's not angry or inflamed, or it doesn't impinge on a nerve, so it doesn't cause sciatica. It's symptomless, basically, but it's there. And if you listen to specialists talking about it, or physiotherapists who specialize in this area, or physicians who specialize in this area, a lot of this can be mental, or can link back into the mind. A lot of their general symptoms that might relate back to stress or something else that's not physically manifested in the patient. So it's complex. So I'm not going to give you today is how to cure your back pain, because I can't do that in a YouTube video. It's crazy. What I will do is I'll give you some strategies for people who suffer from any kind of back pain, how you can train around it. So basically, things we need to avoid, especially the first two are the most important things to avoid. So heavy exercises with a large horizontal footprint. So if you're to video yourself from the side, if you have a large horizontal displacement, such as the start of a deadlift, the bottom of a stiff leg deadlift, the start of a deficit deadlift, the bottom of a low bar squat, any of these positions we want to avoid, because they're placing large moment arms in the spine, which increases the force demands dramatically, which is going to make it a lot more difficult for you to hold that neutral spine and the integrity of that neutral spine. Flexion and extension under load, we really want to get away from this, because that causes articulation of the spinal joints, which causes the disc content or the fluid within the disc to articulate, and if you have an impinged nerve, that's what's going to set off your sciatica. Is that fluid in the sac between the two vertebrae getting pushed into your nerve. That's what causes that shooting pain. So we don't want to be arched, we don't want to be hyperlordotic, and we don't want to be kyphotic. We just want that neutral spine. So if you ever take part in Pilates or talk to physiotherapists, sort of spinal positions that they advocate, that's where we want to stay. We want to spend our training life in that place, because it's going to lead to a happy spine. And we want to get away from aggressive loading schemes. So programs like Smolov, programs like the Philippi, Ed Cohen routine, 5-3-1, forget about it. It's not going to work for you, because it's going to force you into bad positions, because they're going to rely on heavy amounts of fatigue or a quick adaptation response to high stress, which means eventually you're going to lose your form and you're going to go in that flexed or extended spine, and you're going to make your back angry, you're going to get shooting pain, and it's going to suck. So stay away from that. Things we want to embrace. You want to build a fuck off strong lower back, posterior chain, and trunk. Exercises that such as hyperextensions, reverse hypers, good ham raise, anything that trains you to keep your spine in the same position while getting posturally strong. So Romanian deadlift, dumbbell stiff-legged deadlift, anything that you can use to teach you to keep that spine in a neutral position and make it posturally strong, so making it strong isometrically, that is, without movement. Those are the kind of exercises that are going to help. So you're going to want to spend a lot of your assistance work in your lower body programming doing those kinds of exercises. So low level trunk or posterior strengthening exercises, reverse hypers, planks, side planks, anything kind of more dynamic exercises, such as waiter's walks, unilateral farmer's walks, anything that encourages you to train that kind of stable spine. And those are sort of usual bullshit phrases that physios use to kind of get that neutral spine through movement. We want that, and we want a lot of it. Basically, the stronger your lower back is, the stronger your hamstrings are, the stronger your glutes are, the more room for maneuver you're going to have in the weights room. So you really want to hammer the shit out of them. And we want to, for our lower body anyway, we want to do a lot of exercises with a low horizontal footprint. So high bar squats, front squats, overhead squats, bilateral squats like that. They're great for you. Unilateral work, you want to go away from anything that's too dynamic, because it's going to increase the likelihood of flexion or extension of the spine. So you can do single leg press is great, single leg extensions, single leg curls, any kind of machine works fairly good. Leg press you might have to watch, because again, at the bottom range you might get that flexion of the spine, which we want to stay away from. But like a single leg split squat's great, but you can't go really deep, because it's going to increase the flexibility demand through your hips, and again, you're likely to come into flexion if you're not flexible enough to maintain that posture. So although physios have a hard-on for single leg exercises, if you have back pain, you might actually want to stay away from them unless you do them in a certain way. And also rest days, anything that gives you a chance to just deload is a great thing to do, and should embrace it. And we'll cover some of that when we go to our template. So here's our simple glass back template for training. Day one's a heavy lower body and push. So for your lower body, we're going to choose like a bilateral squatting exercise, front squat, back squat, overhead squat. We're going to do kind of gradual sets and rep scheme, so 5x5, loading up 2.5% week to week as an example, something slow, gradual. And we're going to use that as our kind of lower body strength day. And we'll do push, and for the push, you would be better suited to things like feet up bench press, or bench press with a small arch of the spine. That kind of big powerlifting arch, again, you're jamming yourself into extension. You're going to want to stay away from that if you have lower back symptoms or lower back pain. So arch bench press, not great. Floor press, awesome, do that. For shoulders, seated is better than standing, again, because in standing, if it gets heavy, you're going to want to incorporate the larger muscle groups of the chest, which means you're going to lean back, force your spine into extension, and boom, lower back pain. So seated is better than standing if you have a fucked up back. Dumbbells, barbells, doesn't really matter. Again, the same thing that applies to the lower body training applies to the upper body training, and that is to say, if the spine is stable, it's happy, and preferably if we can unload it, so if we could do a lying down chest variation, that's better than standing, because it's going to load the spine. So it decreases the day-to-day demand on what you're putting on your back, which increases the likelihood of you having a healthy training career. Day 2, back and core, so we can use this for our lower body assistance, so our hyperextensions, our reverse hypers, any kind of back bodybuilding you want to do, so like pull-ups, anything like that. Again, if you have a bad back, stay away from a bit of a row, stay away from any kind of T-bar row. or dumbbell row to a lesser extent. Anything where you can get a chest support row, back machines, pull-ups, things that deload the spine is preferential. You can go ham on pull-ups, chin-ups. It can be quite good for some people because it can actually unweight the spine. So some people with bad backs like to do hangs, or they've got the inversion tables that unload their joints. And they quite like it. So chin-ups and pull-ups go nuts. And it loads of core, so core trained in a kind of more physio sense, so planks, side planks, bird dogs, crap like that. Lots of Pilates is probably a pretty good place to put in that core place, that kind of core slot. Day 3, these strategies are more management than anything else, but they're going to help a lot. So swimming, again, similar to the inversion table, it unloads the joints, move through a full range of movement. It's not very stressful. It's a very good recovery strategy, something I'm using myself at the minute, something we use with our rugby players a lot. Massage, of course, is a great recovery tool. Self-massage with a foam roller as well. Great, go for it. You can do it every day if you want. Day 4, we're doing technique, lower, so again, choose a squat variation. If you want to do a bit of Olympic weightlifting, fine, you can put that in your heavy as well. But then be mindful of that the high horizontal footprint of a snatch or a clean at the bottom. If you have a really bad back, probably not a good solution or a good option for you. And again, loads of core work like we were saying before, kind of Pilates influence sort of stuff. Day 5, heavy pull. If you're going to do a heavy row, please, for the sake of God, do a chest support row or a row machine, just to stay away from that horizontal footprint. Think Pendlay row, massive horizontal footprint, not great for your lower back if you have back problems. And upper body assistance, any kind of dumbbell pressing you want to do, shoulder work, raises, guns, whatever you want to do. And then day 6, swimmer massage again. Day 7, total rest. So within this template, we have only 2 heavy days, day 1, day 5, and then 2 assistance days being day 2 and day 4. Day 3 and 6 are recovery days. So if you look in here, if we're actually looking at spinal loading, we're loading on day 1 and we're loading on day 6. So we get a 3-day break after our heavy session, and we get a 2-day break after, or 3-day break after our lower body assistance session, and we get a 2-day break after our heavy pull session, which might involve deadlift if you want to do it. If you want to deadlift, go for it, but you really have to pay attention to your technique, and that one bad rep is going to set you back potentially 2 or 3 weeks, so be mindful of that. Okay, that's going to conclude this short video. Questions, comments, leave them below. CastIronStrength.com is a website. I'm available for online coaching if you so wish. Help you manage that fucked up back. speedpowerforms@gmail.com. Shoot us an email if you're interested, or you want to say hello, tell me I suck, whatever. Stay in touch. If there's any kind of topics you'd like to hear me cover in a similar sort of fashion, leave a comment, send an email. This is Mark, Strength Power and Fit, or sorry, this is Mark of CastIronStrength.com. Signing off. Thanks for listening. Signing off. Thanks for listening. Signing off.